that also means that if someone who comes to you, or you go to somebody else to ask them about it, you need to listen. Because it's important that you don't have a preconceived notion and tell somebody what they think or what they feel.
Absolutely.
Right? So I love the fact that you said that you feel not some type of way, but you have a difference in opinion when it comes down to transgender people.
I'm a rational argument kind of guy.
Yes, you're a very rational person.
If it doesn't make rational sense, it's a belief. That's really where they're missing me. It's one thing, But again, no one should be hitting them. No one should be talking down to them. No one should be yelling at them in the street. No one should invade their personal space. And no one should really get in their face and tell them anything about, people shouldn't be harassed. Okay. And one of the things that it was expressed to me is that they receive a lot of harassment. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the reasons why we need more awareness. Mm-hmm. Because people are harassing them about their own life choices.
Well, on top of harassing them, we have a lot of murders that are going down, too, in the transgender community.
Higher than other communities? I don't understand.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, the murder?
There are a lot of people who are being murdered on top of the harassment, on top of saying, oh yeah, this, that, blah, 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 on top of the harassment, who have been murdered. I think we can definitely use that as another topic.
Oh yeah, that's
right. You okay with that?
Yeah.
And I think that would be great for us to talk about. And if you have some of your own experiences that you would like to add on, or you would like to add on to the discussion, be sure to comment on the bottom for us, and then we can look at it and we can talk about it. Because I think that it's important for us to have an open forum.
Especially as Black people.
Yes.
Something I had to tell someone, I don't care if you're trans, gay, you're Black. Mm-hmm. And because you're Black, I'm obligated to defend your Blackness.
Right.
Your personal life choices, do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
You're an American. And I believe every American should have the choice to do what they want. Mm-hmm. I also believe if you're going to put out a statement, I should rationally be able to have a conversation about it.
Right.
But your choice and what you do, that's you. What's the point of liberty if you can't choose?
Right.
Something you want to do.
Right.
So.
But not if what you choose to do is at the expense of someone else, or that, because I feel like that's really important.
If you're only doing it to yourself, it's fine. If your freedom requires you to infringe upon other people, that's not freedom. That's tyranny.
Okay, because I think that's the problem. A lot of people feel like, well, America's free. I can say whatever I want to say, but you got to be careful with some of the things that you say. You're not free without consequence.
Just because you're free to say whatever you want to say, you should still have enough decorum as a civilized person not to recklessly engage in hostile activities with other humans.
Okay.
All right? That is just uncivilized. If you are going out of your way to make someone feel bad, you shouldn't do that. No one should do that. If you feel so opinionated about someone else's life choices, that again have nothing to do with you, you're doing it wrong. Freedom means mind your business.
Mind your damn business.
Franklin put it on the first minted coin for America, okay? Freedom means mind your business. All right? So hard.
Okay. All right, that brings us to the next part. Okay, you ready for this question? This is a little bit lighter. Okay. What are the most annoying behaviors you get from other races? Most annoying.
I don't like when people look at me like they're afraid. Sometimes when I'm walking and a white woman turns around, I'm like, bitch, I'm scared. What the fuck you got to be scared of? I'm scared. You probably have some mean white husband around here with his lynching mob. What the fuck are you jumping for, bitch? You're the most safest bitch in here. I'm the fucking gorilla that's being hunted. So that pisses me off.
Remember I told you about that in Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Remember?
No.
Remember this scene? He goes there and it's like at the beginning of the movie when he first sees it.
Oh, with the shooting,
and then
right?
And all the aliens pop out and they're like, sir.
Shot that little white girl. That bitch is
she's the one who's suspicious to me. What are they doing on there?
What the fuck is a little white girl doing out there with books set to it?
That is the most accurate, I think, representation as to how people automatically assume, oh, this is what everybody's gonna think. But that's not true. That's not true. This is how everybody's gonna act. I love that part in Men in Black. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch the first one because Will Smith did his thing that one. You want to go back and forth and see that? Okay, I cannot stand when people touch my hair. I cannot stand it. I've heard people come up with all types of different things. Like, why can't I touch your hair? Why can't I have had white people argue with me about my own hair?
That's just ridiculous.
I literally at my job, I remember showing people a video, and the video was of a black woman who was walking in the park, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, your hair!" And she literally would run up to people and touch their hair. Let me tell you something. White people hated that shit. White people were like,
nobody likes that shit.
What is she doing?
Why are you trying to touch me?
Literally, white people hated that shit because they felt violated. And it's not people you know.
I don't know. You don't touch
It's not even people you know. It's like I mean, I've had a lot of white people a part of my life, but I have to be honest with you. A lot of people, the people that I know, would not go to touch my hair. They might ask me questions like, "How long did it take for your hair to get done?" And this was back when my hair was longer and I was doing like extensions and box braids and things of that nature, which is cool anyway. No discrimination towards people who want to wear those things. But anyway, I'm just saying that like people who are strangers.
Want to touch your hair?
They want to touch my hair. When my hair was short, same thing. They want to touch my hair. I don't understand what it does, but it makes me feel like I'm a pet.
Yes. A display.
Oh, here's a black person in our class. Let's look at her hair.
Like my hair is public.
It's just annoying.
Definitely private.
It annoys the hell out of me. Like, get your fucking fingers off of me. All right, what's another thing that annoys you?
I hate when white people presume that they can just walk up to you and tell you about your life. Like, you see those Karens trying to tell people they can't barbecue, or like, who the fuck made you the park police, the pool police? They got lifeguards, real police. I hate that about white people. That they can see some shit black people are doing and be like,
they have so much power in that phone call. For what?
I feel unsafe. I don't know if they're having some kind of hoodoo ritual or if this is a gangbang. I don't know. But you send Billy Bob in them real quick because they out here doing black.
Meanwhile, black people over here doing a cha-cha slide.
Niggas celebrating a birthday. It's my 13-year-old's birthday. I can't do it big for my kid.
Some ribs.
You white people aren't the only ones with money anymore. We got money. We do gender reveals too.
Oh shit! You're right though. You're right.
I can't stand that.
You're right.
There's this thing on TikTok where it's like, as a black person, you're never really alone. Yes.
We can't even. Yo, we be at a restaurant having the time of our lives. There's one white person who's like we look.
They must be on drugs. They're a little loud.
Can't laugh. Oh my God! All these black kids stay here till 5:30. We over here practicing for a play.
Oh my!
We ain't bothering nobody.
Did you see that one where the girl was like delivering hair to another girl out the window, and the white woman's talking to her like, "I just want you to know it looks like a drug."
Oh yeah.
And the bitch was like, "Bitch, this is full patch of hair. What drug you know?"
It was clearly patch.
Oh,
and she wouldn't leave. Yeah. She would leave. She's like, "I'm just saying drug deal.
I just want you to know it looks like a drug deal." Bitch, you said it 5 times. I didn't agree with you the first time. Walk away. That's bold, bro. That's bold. Mind your fucking business, white people. Mind your motherfucking business.
Bag. Mind your business.
Yo, my new pitch is we need to take "In God We Trust" off all the money and go back to the original "Mind Your Business." All right.
Hold on a second.
All right, your turn.
Sorry, baby's texting me, so I just want to make sure I let her know. He's still recording. No, you know the time right now. We call each other at the same time every day, so she's doing what she usually does. All right. One thing that also gets on my nerves, and this is something that I think a lot of black women. If I were to give a percentage, I'll probably say 95% of black women have talked about this, and it's saying that we're angry, we're aggressive, or we were intimidating just from us stating a fact.
I hate that too.
That shit is so annoying. Like everybody else can say how they feel. They can be angry. I've seen people, white men, get angry and yell, and I will literally say something like, "I don't think that was a respectful way to respond to so and so," and literally Oh my gosh, did you see what she said? Did you see her attitude? Did you see how her head was twitching or how her voice was escalated? You could have brought it down. I literally can calculate, and I swear to you, this has happened to me at my job. I can calculate everything to a T. Me sitting down, me talking like this. This is why code switching for Black women is like such a powerful tool, right? Me talking like this, me making sure that my voice is fine. I can literally say, I don't like the way that you spoke to me. And if there's no one else in here, and that person goes back and says, Gemini came at me and she was intimidated, they are not going to care about anything that I have to say. And then people do that shit and they be like, oh yeah, you're getting angry. Calm down. There is nothing more aggravating than someone who is calm and literally goes through the steps to make sure that you feel safe and them coming at you saying that now you're angry. You know what's pissing me off? You jumping to conclusions. Yeah. You coming at me doing everything that I need to do, and it really was unnecessary because I didn't have to do shit because I'm being Black and I'm a woman and it's bothering you.
Honestly, one of the things I will say is anytime a Black woman's empowered and does something, I'm the first to be like, she didn't give you no attitude. She spoke. She gave you an answer. If you think that's attitude, it's because you're a weak man. I've told my dad that. When they used to complain about Michelle Obama, I was like, if you think what Michelle Obama is trying to do, feeding your kids healthy food is weak, it's because you're a weak human being. It's not your fault. You've been snorting that stuff. I'll tell white people straight up to their face. You're dumb.
And honestly,
Great race did not hit you.
If you're not in a relationship with someone else who is also Black or someone who understands that experience, it's even worse.
I don't know.
It's even worse.
That's not how mine is. I know a lot of interracial
Listen, if you do not stick up for your queen.
That's different.
If you sit there and say, oh yeah, well you are making a big deal out of it, that's definitely going to put a lot of turmoil.
I know Black women I know white women who've gone out for their Black man.
But that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like their kid, like it's a little more complicated now. It's too much. You know what I'm saying? We have so much intermixing going on right now. It's not the same. It's like, I think we're getting to a point where people are humanizing the experience. Humans shouldn't treat other humans like this. Yeah. That's what we're getting to. So.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't understand what that is. Like, a lot of people still don't understand what microaggressions are.
But if you're a Black person, like, I seen this picture of this Black guy with his white girlfriend, and he has, like, slave chains on his hand. You don't get to claim Black like that. You're out here taking slave pics with your
whose bright idea? That shit was the most terrible idea.
If you are in a relationship and you have a wedding at a plantation, like, come on, like, do better.
But that's what I mean by, like, if you are in that relationship, it's important for you to understand something. You're not going to understand what it's like to live life as a Black woman or a Black man. But what you can do is be that you're down for the cause. I saw somebody on TikTok who said something along the lines of, if you claim that you're an ally and someone asks you, what have you sacrificed, and you can't say anything, then you're not really an ally. And that shit was some deep fucking shit.
Real white allies don't go to Thanksgiving. And if they do, they go with their Black Lives Matter shirt. And they don't mind arguing with their Billy Bob uncles the whole time. They don't mind. All right? I always tell people, don't claim me as your Black friend unless you're going to argue with your uncles at dinner. If you're not willing to argue with your family members for the beauty and glory of a better Black America, don't fucking claim me as your friend. We're associates. We have nice intellectual conversations.
Absolutely.
That's about it. All right?
Yeah. No, but it's true. You have to understand what you're working with.
Because I fight for them. If anyone says something bad about white people, do I not be like, well, you understand, these white people are going through some shit. Do I not? I always, because I have white friends and I know they're out there defending me, so I'm going to try my best to defend y'all when you deserve it. So.
I wanted to say that, okay, this was something that you said earlier today. Okay, you said everything Black ain't good. Can you expand on that, please?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, everything Black ain't good.
What does that mean?
It's a clear statement. All right? First of all, it's based off this. After my recent review of Black history and in that movie, The Black Judas, I realized that Black progression in America has not just been cut because of white people. It's been cut because there's always some Black person willing to sell out their community for money. For money. Everything Black ain't good. All right? Most of our great political leaders were killed because some black spy was out there snitching. Most of the slave rebellions were stomped down because some black motherfucker went snitching the master.
Do you think that every black snitch knew that they were snitch?
Yes! They are fully aware of who they are.
Because you don't think that some of the people right now, and I'm not even just talking about politics, but that some people who have a forum, who speak, you don't think that some of them are unaware of the harm that they do to the black community?
No, they're fully aware. It's the 21st century. You know.
That's really interesting because
who are you defending?
I'm just saying that I know a lot of people who say I'm not racist who do a lot of racist shit, and they have no idea that they're doing racist shit.
Okay. See, this is a thing I can't stand with humans. All right, ignorance is not bliss anymore. All right, it's 21st century. We all have cameras, and we all have enough human knowledge readily available to know when bullshit is bullshit. That is bullshit. I don't know how to say it any less. All right. Okay. All right. At this point, you know. Come on. One of your cousins then told you you're doing that white shit. If you don't got no black cousins, I can't help you. Maybe you don't got no black cousins. There are odd cases.
I have no black cousins.
There are odd stories everywhere. Exceptions to every rule, if you may.
I think that brings us to our last question, which I think is going to be really good. It says, what are your biggest complaints with the black community?
Right this moment, it's black men. The CIA could have never sold drugs in our community if black men weren't willing to sell out and continue to push those drugs in our community. There are shows now where motherfuckers who sold drugs to our community giving interviews talking about crack in back in the day. These motherfuckers saw what was happening to our community and continued to sell and push those harmful products on our community. Post Malcolm X, there is no excuse for black men not being the gatekeepers of our community. White people can't push nothing in our community if you guys don't let it in here. So my biggest complaint right now with black men is they need to be better gatekeepers of our community as a whole. You
don't think that black men who have counted on survival, like that temporary, like, okay, I need to get out of this, who are poor, especially at that time, had other opportunities?
I don't give a fuck. Killing your people is not an excuse.
I'm just saying that, like, if you had to choose between making some quick money and
starve before you kill your people and continue the agenda. It is ridiculous. Look at our history in this country. I don't give a fuck. There's 1,000 ways to make money. Sell some dick before you sell some crap.
Wait, what?
Get the fuck out of here. Sell yourself, nigga, before you sell out to your people. Fuck out of here, bro. That is, no. You always have something you can push besides drugs on your people. Alright? Poor. Start a band, nigga. You got some talent. Every black person got one talent blessed from them from the ancestors. If you don't use it, that's on you.
I'm just trying to look at it from a different perspective in this time period, you know, where you do have a lot of racism. You have a lot of people who are, yes, on the drug, but a lot of people who are looking for ways to have money to survive.
You can scan
and now. So you have all these people who they find a way to make a quick buck, and everybody, it's guaranteed money. By the way, you guys watch the crack documentary on Netflix. If you want to hear more about it. And then if you have any questions or if you have any comments or anything that you would like to bring forth, just put in the comments down below. I think that would really help us out. Because once again, perspective is everything.
There's power, even a different point of view.
But even with the crack epidemic, you have a lot of people who realize this is guaranteed money. This job that I have, I can lose it just from one white man saying, oh, this guy's not doing this. A lot of people who are depending on other people that they know they can't trust, right? But you have this crack epidemic. You have this drug that you can push that not only will get you out of poverty, but also makes you feel like you're a king. And I'm not trying to say that this is right because, of course, I'm all about black communities. I'm all about us, finding our excellence. What I'm saying is that if you've been feeling a certain way all your life and you've seen your father feeling some type of way this whole entire life, I'm sorry. You've seen your father struggle. You've noticed that your kids don't have enough money to even just buy basic things like from school or even to go to college. And then you have a way where you're like,
so you poison other people's families.
You poison other families.
To take care of your family.
There's that survivor shit.
That is
this may happen.
It's wrong.
I'm just trying to help you to see that some people didn't feel like they had much of a choice.
I hear what you're saying, and I hear that rationale, but at what cost? If you're willing to hurt others just so you can get ahead, that's a bad person. That's a bad wave.
Yeah, but some people see that as taking care of their families.
They're stupid.
You know, I mean, you're looking at it, and I'm just telling you that there's a lot of people.
What? Maybe 3% of all those crack dealers
took
care of their families.
Oh, well,
where's the rest of that money? Eventually, they got arrested. The government took the money. It didn't do.
So you're talking about something that's temporary. So yes. Was it able to get them out of that hole? Yes, but was it able to give them an investment into the future?
Then their kids would start doing the drugs. It wasn't worth it. And that's what I'm saying. Now that we've gone through it, going forward, we need a better rationale. Black men cannot be so willing to sell out their fucking people. Mm. Stop pushing products on your own people. Go sell it to little white kids or something. But it's ridiculous. It's a lack of pride. You cannot complain about the white man doing this and doing that when you're right out here handing it to your auntie.
I just feel like, and I know,
not all of them, but
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I feel like that was a terrible move on a lot of, black men. I will say though that we have been trained, and this is not an excuse because we can't keep saying that because we were in this situation, that's the reason why for everything. No, but what I can say though, it makes sense collectively as to why we would become a people that is very much about survival in this moment or survival in this next week, not opposed to an investment in our futures.
You know one thing that annoyed me about that crack thing? There was zero remorse. I didn't feel any remorse from it.
None. I didn't either.
I felt right now the police are heightened because of them. Them doing what they did in the 90s, just a new crime bill. Young black kids have been shot and killed because these fuckers want to push poison on our people.
I don't know if anybody wants to write some stuff down in the comments. It might be really personal, but we all know somebody who struggled with crack during that time. I think the older I get and the more that I talk to some of my family members, the more I even know about people who have been affected directly from the crack epidemic, who were on drugs. And just the fact that they are living today is an example of, a miracle. They would even say it's a miracle that they are still alive. So just thinking about that, and even there's a part in the documentary that talks about how black people were still used in this document, literally used during this time period to represent this violent population.
You made it easy for them.
Literally, they used this, even though black people didn't bring it in. Even though
we don't get no motherfuckers in Mexico.
Literally, even though they were able to take whatever they could find to continue this narrative of black people exhibiting this violence and that they cannot be trusted and that they're animals and they're barbaric. Think about how they did this to women. And then I think about certain movies that I've watched and didn't even realize, wow, we literally glorified this culture. Say that how we put a crack mama in Boys in the Hood. You guys remember that part? Because when that clip was shown, I was like, oh my gosh. And I remember people saying, oh, that's a crack baby. As if it really was just, the baby chose to be a crack baby. Or there was no sympathy, no empathy for these black women who've overcome addiction.
Why am I going to have sympathy for the women when the men are the ones doing it to them? Women, and nowhere in the world, women are treated as good as their men perceive them. White women are treated so well because their white men put white women on a pedestal. You can't even talk to them a certain way because of how their white men build the world for them around them. Black women don't get that.
This is true.
And if your gatekeepers will sell you the poison from the white man, come on. If your own man ain't gonna protect you, The fuck do I have to protect? That's not my job. That's the white man's logic. It's not my job to protect her. That's her man's job. He don't give a fuck. It starts with us. At this point, everything we know, it's us. We've been to the crack epidemic. We've been to the 70s. We've been to the 60s. It's us. It's not these white people anymore. They're minimal. Most of it is us. We have to work on ourselves as a people. And that's the one thing I don't like. Because that conversation, too many types of black people that find a consensus.
I think that from our own experiences, or actually, I'm sorry, let me not say our, because I don't want to hold that against you. I know from my own experience, I can't say that the majority of the black men that I know are violent.
Oh, I wouldn't.
I can't say the majority of the black women I know are violent.
I wouldn't say that either. Yeah.
Let me tell you something, because with somebody who, I mean,
wait,
just
what
you
did you like? Yeah, what don't you like? You're supposed to tell me what you don't like about the community.
Oh, what I don't like. Oh, okay, rewind that.
You get inspiration. I felt it.
Mental health. The mental health stigma.
Okay, stigma.
I think harms our community so much. Okay. I think that there has been so much trauma, stemming back from I don't want to say 400 years, but I think we forget that we're talking about multiple generations. And generational trauma, I think, is real. Yeah. I think there's a lot of cycles of abuse, and not just physical abuse and mental abuse. There's been a lot of people who used, religion as a way to keep their children in a box, or even feeling
take advantage of it.
Yeah, take advantage of the situation, and get as much as they can from it. I think that even when it comes down to parenting, people having way too much pride to say I'm sorry or to address those traumas directly. And I understand that there's this whole thing with in the medical field, feel like, I don't want this old school mentality. I don't want to tell this white person my problems. Well, guess what? There are black therapists. I've noticed that a lot of men specifically, maybe you can speak on this, a lot of men, black men specifically, are like, oh, I'm not about that. Oh, I'll be okay. But there's some black women who feel, but I feel like I can have conversations with my friends and say, well, this is what you need. And after a while, it kind of like, you know what, you're right. I've been trying to do this by myself.
It could be your circle, though. It could be your circle.
Because you feel like there's black women who are resistant to it, too.
I feel like black people, on average, are resistant to anything helpful to their mental health. I think it's getting better right now. Mm-hmm. We're talking about it more. And the pandemic pushed everybody's mental health to the topic.
Right.
So right this second, I don't know. Okay. I've been quarantined.
That's fair.
I haven't talking, but everyone on the post seems to be considering their mental health.
Well, people my age. Yeah. Okay, you're right. In my circle, but my age, like when I talk to people who are in my profession, or when I talk to people about mental health in general around my age, they seem to be more receptive. When I talk to black men that are around my age, and we talk about I want to say 25 to early 30s or mid 30s, I feel like black men are like, I don't want to hear about that. Oh, I can deal with it. I'll be fine. And regardless of what the fruit is of them, saying they'll be fine, regardless of whether their relationship is falling apart, regardless of whether their mental health is not, or they're just depressed and not really able to say, this is me being depressed.
Talk about it.
It's like a shutdown. And I feel, of course, this is not just all on black men or the black communities, but also I feel like, health insurance is hard to come by for some people. Finding therapy resources, if you need to see a therapist twice a week, but you can't afford even a copayment of, $20, you're not going to go see that therapist. And not to mention, I've seen therapists who charge over $300 for a session.
Therapy's not cheap.
For 45 minutes, not even an hour. So I think that there's a lot of different things that need to be helped in our communities. For sure, address. Thank you for correcting me. Before we even go further, because even as a people, part of, those mental health, we can't just keep copping out and saying, oh, auntie, so-and-so, she's just crazy.
So the one thing I will say is my fraternity, which is the first black African-American fraternity,
let's get it. Sorry.
We've been focused on that. And
Good.
have found that men talking to men about mental health, like one-on-one or cooperative group setting has made people more receptive. Yeah, my friends or my circle has always been a little bit more receptive to therapy. You know, my mother is big on, sending people to sit on the couch. That's what I call it, sitting on the couch. I don't always call it therapy because it sounds strong. I was like, just go sit on the couch, talk to someone about your problem. Oh, I don't need a train. Like, think about it like this: you work out your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you work out your emotions? You got to go to the gym for your body.
Right.
You got to go to the psychologist.
Right.
For the mind.
Right. And then some people are like, well, I talked to so and so, and I'm able to kind of. They're not a professional.
And they know you personally.
Exactly.
Your therapist should not know you personally. One of my friends are like, think about it like this. Think about it like going to the priest and confessing.
Right.
That's how I phrase it. Don't think about it like therapy. Think about it like
I think of it as like
confessing.
A broken foot. Wrong foot, right?
Yeah.
If it was a broken foot, right, you wouldn't be able to work. You wouldn't be able to you wouldn't be able to move around. I'm scooting around the house and stuff to get to every place that I need to go, right? And so you understand that this is something that you need to deal with right now. And you treat it with urgency because you're like, I have to get to my regular programming, right? However, your mental health, you know something is wrong. And you think, oh, I'm doing all right because I'm still able to cook. I'm still able to clean. I still go to work. But you are literally walking like a zombie. And whether you know it or not, that shit is more detrimental than it is as far as being beneficial. Yes, you're getting through it, but are you? Are you really living your life?
I'm happy. But the problem is, the one thing I've started to realize is human beings have been living with bad mental health for generations. The whole species has a bad mental health.
Yeah.
And we just keep pushing. Old people, you really get into them, they have bad mental health, but they just keep pushing. Because that's how we've always, as a species, dealt with mental health. You know what the sad get you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
you'll be all right. The comparison. This person has it wrong. This one has it worse than you.
And I think that's right. I think we also need to start talking to kids earlier about their emotions.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing we're doing wrong right now is validating every emotion. And we need to have a rational conversation about emotions. Why do you feel? What happened to make you feel this way?
Yeah.
Well, why?
Well, I don't think that's invalidating anybody's emotions, but I do feel like...
No, I'm saying we validate emotions without having a rational conversation about what emotions are.
Right.
Like, we need to be more emotionally intelligent.
Yes.
And I don't think...
Agreed.
Emotional intelligence is a whole study, the whole field.
Agreed, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't agree or disagree. It says you need to be in more control of your emotions. Control how you react. You know, to some degree, our emotions are something left over from the ancient times.
Yes.
They're your body's reaction to signals all around you. And it's producing a chemical imbalance in you to affect your mood because your body's trying to tell you something.
Right.
But you don't live in the natural world. You live in a house. You get in the car with AC. That emotional development is not acting in an environment for it. So we have to talk about this. You know?
I think that we can summarize this by saying clearly we are all not violent species. And
some people's history is a little more violent than others.
Yes. I think that collectively from even asking some of these questions, I think that there has definitely been some sort of movement in Black culture and some movement for the better. And I think that it's important for us to all realize the part that we play individually for making this culture even better, right? Even when you were talking about the reactions to some of the parts in history, the crack epidemic, for sure. I've
been blaming it on white people for a long time.
Yes, but like, where's the accountability piece? Yeah. And I would say for anybody who's watching right now, how could you hold yourself accountable in where you are right now? Are you yourself being the best that you can be? Are you taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and even for your kids that you might be thinking, you know what, I just need to survive today. I just need to survive tomorrow. I'm just going to put this on the back burner. Maybe you've been thinking about therapy. Maybe you haven't been thinking about therapy. Maybe you feel like, oh, I'm stronger than that. It's not about that. It's not. Sometimes if you keep doing the same thing by yourself and you realize there aren't any different results, you got to change something. You have to change.
Switch it up.
Therapy has been a beautiful thing for me. Adrian, you know how. Pharaoh, you know how I'm always advocating for therapy. It's good to have a different point of view, and I've also changed for the better as a person. And I've noticed that even in our conversations, the way that how I'm able to communicate with you, or even our friendship on a deeper level. And of course, it's always great to have a friend you can tell anything to. It doesn't mean that he'll be my therapist, but it will mean that I have a friend who is willing to support me.
We'll have a conversation about it.
Yeah. Because most of my conversations before I even came to a therapist, it came to you anyway. But just to have a therapist who comes and talks me through my feelings, figure out what the target behavior is, has really helped me to become, I don't even say a better person, but more understanding. And I'm able to do what is necessary to make sure that I'm still right there. Because we want everybody to be on that Black queen or even Black king status. We want them all to be able to maximize their potential.
I would say therapy helps you find compassion for yourself. I would say the biggest problem is us talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
That little voice is your worst enemy and your best friend. And you cannot let it run things.
Right.
The third voice has to be the strongest. And I think therapy helps you find compassion for yourself. So that little voice it speaks differently after therapy.
Yes.
The little voice starts to speak differently after some therapy. So that would be my last point.
All right. And you guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope you've been enjoying whatever we say. Just please remember to click on the bell. All right. I'm sure you're gonna probably insert right here our ending. Is that how it's gonna be? Hey.
I just want you to know about the cutout, and then the ending's gonna come. So, if you've enjoyed this episode of Black Essence Podcast,
please make sure to subscribe by pressing the subscribe button down below and also pressing the bell.
You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Black Essence Pod. We look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Yo, it's Patience from the book.